What's up, LC heads? We are running the ROG Xmode and we are optimizing our device. Look at that. I love that. People ask me, what I use to get this title to run so clean and smooth. Typically, it's just my device, and I never even go into Xmode. But I decided, hey, let's actually see if we can, tell the difference. Well, I found out that here in Tower, I can tell the difference, because if I use one of my Androids, drop the S3, there's a lot going on the screen, especially when Colonel Mustang here drops his S3 too. All those huge AoEs against 5 or 10 enemies, that takes up a lot of effect on the screen. That will slow devices down. It will look choppy. I've heard it's even worse on the computer because you have to run an emulator, and all this code is written for obviously a phone. So, typically runs better with a phone. And if you have something like, an Xmode, or I'm sure, other name brands have the equivalent of, it will make this smoother. So that is nice. It's actually nice to see some of these fights where you can actually see what's going on. Everything's running smooth. It does take a bit of performance. This is an ROG 3 phone. They're out with the ROG 5 by now. But there's other phones. I'd like to see how the Red Magic phone, how it performs in something like this. That phone was substantially cheaper. Mind you, I've also had this phone for a year, so I don't even know if a Red Magic would make it a year without any issues, or if the battery would be half dead by now. I also read online that the people that did have issues with them, it was hard for them to get a hold of anybody, and because it's a smaller company. That's why I went with ROG, because they are a bigger company. They should care more for their brand, so I just felt a little more confident, and I've always been happy with this device. I just did an actual review vid on it not too long ago, a quick one, because it's been a full year. And yeah, the battery lasts great. I'm sure it's going to take up more battery using the high performance mode on it. It does make a big difference though when you can see everything nice and fluid on the screen. You know what's going on. Things don't just chop up and, oh, I won. Oh, snap. Speaking of which, wow, we just got annihilated by that was the Archer. What's her name? Val the Archer? I don't know what it is. I don't really run her, but she did pretty damn good there. Took out half my team. Oh no, rah-rah. So yeah, I've just been running Tower over here. Oh no, and I'm slow. Been running Tower just because I feel like there's great experience here, and there's some lapis to grind here too, and it actually gives me a chance to take advantage of the Xmode on this phone. I never really need to turn it on. I'm not one of these people that runs devices full blast if I don't have to. I know that sometimes greatly affects the longevity, the life of the device, but it is nice to turn it on, get better performance, and actually see it and work. Pretty cool. With a lot of the other games that I play, I would never even have to use Xmode. Oh snap, let's see if we can scrape by this level. Yeah, other titles that'll work great on this device is Genshin Impact. With Genshin, I would run the Xmode too. But like I said, it doesn't exactly... I'm surprised it doesn't really destroy the battery. I mean, I can run Xmode for a reasonably long time. So that is pretty nice. That is pretty nice. Also, I imagine this phone probably gets more updates than some of the other gaming phones that were introduced into the market from smaller companies. You're just going to get updates less and less. That was a problem with the Xmode phone that I got a long time ago. To try to keep up with Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, because that was just eating devices left and right. I ended up just putting that game on a tablet and rocking that tablet. That worked out well for me, but I know a lot of friends that lost their devices because of FFBE. I mean, that thing was just a phone eater, especially at the time. And, you know, if you were trying to get some sort of device to run that, you had an issue because there really wasn't much out on the market. That's when I got my first Xiaomi phone. I was blown away by the specs of it. It was wonderful. But then, you know, after a year, you don't really get software updates. At least back then you didn't from Xiaomi. And they were coming out with different devices. I was really happy with my Mi Note Pro. It had so much, like comparing it to the newest iPhone that was out that year, it had so much more performance. It was on a whole nother level. But then getting updates for it, I mean, that became a bitch. And actually, that phone's battery could not keep up with Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. As great as the specs were on that phone, Brave Exvius ate that phone up, and I ended up getting a Shield tablet. Those things were awesome by those days and by those standards, but they had a battery issue too. After a year or two, the battery would start to balloon up, and the device would be wrecked. And an acquaintance of mine at the time, he saw my Shield tab and absolutely loved it. It made everything run so smooth at the time. Of course, we didn't have Genshin Impact at the time and stuff like that on phones. And he bought one and paid like $500 for it. He could have got a new one for $60 more, but for whatever reason, he wanted to save that $50 and got a used one. And somebody, you know, resold their Shield tab knowing that the battery was going out on it. So I felt terrible, you know, because he wanted to get one because mine was so awesome. And as soon as he got it, like, it instantly started having charging problems within like 2 weeks. And he was just pissed. And he pretty much paid full price for it. He saved like $50. And when I found out, I was like, why? Why didn't you just pay the $50 and get a brand new one with a battery that would at least last you a couple years? Oh, man. Yeah. So you got to be careful buying electronics like that. You know, I couldn't even take a chance on this phone. I had to have it working brand new out of the box. I couldn't have any problems or issues. There is a 10-cent version of the ROG 3. It's like another company that will sell you the phone, but they will not sell you the licensed Google Play and all that stuff. I think that's how you're getting the phone for cheap. So that becomes an issue. You have to be able to crack phones, and you have to know how to use RAMs and ROMs, I think, or whatever the case may be. You guys, I'm sure all of you have heard of like unlocking phones, and if you don't do it right, it'll get bricked. You know, if you're savvy like that, cool. Get one of these ROG phones that are from Tencent, and then you can just run all your own ROMs and, you know, do all that. And hey, if that works for you, if you know how to do that, my hat's off to you. But I needed something that worked out of the box. So unfortunately, I had to pay the actual $1,000 price tag for this device because I needed the global market. I needed the global version of Google Play. I needed everything to work. I couldn't have any issues. And actually, been very happy with this device from day one. All right. So no complaints. Loving Xmode. Loving the fact that I still have a battery a year later. Let's see. There was another device that was actually close to this one. Who makes it? Oh my goodness. It wasn't the Red Magic. It was the other device that was like, it was in for the running. It's made by Lebanon? What is it? Damn it. What is it called? Oh, somebody will know what I'm talking about. It's the only other phone that actually competed with this one with the same exact actual processor and stuff, and it actually manages to get a couple more frames per second, which is like negligible. You can't really see, but it's getting it all through software from my understanding of it, which means you're just putting more load, just a little bit more load on the processor, on the same exact processor, which means that, I mean, if Republic of Gamers wanted to crank out that many FPS, they could do the same thing by just tweaking the programming. But they're not doing that for a reason. Probably because that little tweak increases the chance of your load being unstable, and it just makes things run less stable. And they figured it wasn't worth it for the minute performance increase to just have, I mean, that much drag on your device. And that's why I kind of was like, that's cool that they can get a couple more FPS out of like some shooting games than this device. But I didn't see that device, that platform, talk at all about their battery and anything that they're doing to like make sure that their battery's going to last. And in my mind, that translates into, great, so you're putting more wear and tear, you know, on the processor to get a couple more frames per second. You're probably giving it a little bit more wattage to do that. You know, more performance requires more energy. And, you know, that's probably going to lead to less battery life, just to get that 1 or 2 more FPS. And I'm not even really worried about battery life as much as I am, I guess, battery longevity. How many times can you recharge it before it doesn't hold a charge anymore? That is really what impressed me with this device. And that is because they actually have settings to get rid of fast charge. Everybody at home rocking your device, complaining about your battery's not that great, do not fast charge. Fast charging is the devil. They came up with it because it's great. Yeah, it'll charge your phone twice as quick. It'll also kill your battery. Quick charge, fast charge, any of those charges actually hurt your battery. The best way to charge your battery is with a trickle charge. You're not heating the battery up. Everything's not getting as hot. You prolong the life on your device by trickle charging it. And that is what this device lets me do. It also lets me limit the battery. So you're not charging it to 100% and you can set it to charge to just 90% or 80%. So that's what I'll do. 1 month I'll have it to 80, then I'll change it to 90. Then for a couple of days I'll fill it up all the way to 100%. So those cells are actually getting used. But you're just not stuffing that battery full every time. That, and I do the trickle charge. I turn off the fast charge. I didn't see a lot of these options on these other phones that were competing with this one at the time. So that's why I went with this device. And hey, it could have all just been bullshit. You know, they could have just been pretty little apps to give you, you know, options to do these things with the batteries, but they could have actually done nothing for the longevity of the actual battery. I didn't know until I could actually test it out for a year. And now I feel confident enough to say that it actually does work. So I'm very happy with this device. I don't know if I would be so happy right now if I would have chosen one of the other 2 devices that were up in the running. I could have had issues by now. So, yep, no complaints here. Still rocking Xmode. Everything looks nice and smooth. I love that. Because these games are getting better and better by the year. And even a lot of these games, they constantly get patched. You know, the game's getting bigger and bigger. And here's the other thing, too. Everybody that reviews phones, like, you get the phone, they rock it for a week, and they're like, yeah, it's cool, it's, you know, it's this fast, but they don't really know how the phone's going to work and how it's going to operate when it's full. When you actually fill up one of these phones with like damn near a terabyte of data, because I have like the hard drive on this thing maxed. Like I have 500 videos saved on this thing of different gameplay vids, different things I was doing, just all sorts of crap. I have a ton of apps and games, and this thing is like 98% full right now, and it still runs awesome. So there's that. I'm happy about that. I have not really seen a performance change just from everything kind of getting gunked up from, I mean, we all know how it works. The more data you have, I mean, the more data there is to sift through when your device is trying to find something. I've never had to like reformat this device or anything like that. It just works. I'm just happy with it. Okay, I'd be happy if we could get through this battle. No. Tell me she can cast like that. She can eat a fireball. So yeah, Rockin' Tower, and I'm mostly here just to run some of the new characters through it and the other parties so they can they can get the experience. And like I said, the lapis. There we go. Angela just went up to level 91. Really, the third party is here for experience. So is the second party. There's Lilibet, level 98, almost 100. Oh yeah, friendly reminder to everybody. Make sure to farm out any awakening materials that you can right now from like the Sun Crystal map that's open from this event. Those materials are a lot harder to get to actually, awaken your character, and then you need the shards obviously to unlock those what are they called? The bonuses that apply to your whole account. You guys know what I'm talking about. Can't think of them off the top of my head. It's cold out here. But best place to get them is pretty much open right now. The boss fights are easy, and you can run your rogue and get a bonus right now. So yeah, so I'm gonna get back to that, and just wanted to check in with everybody today, let you know how I was feeling. Man, getting over having to talk to the police yesterday. I actually have a freaking police report that has Warhammer 40k in it and dice. How fucking pathetic is that? I guess you're not a real tabletop gamer unless you have a police report with your favorite tabletop game in it. That's how they know you're hardcore about it, baby. Anyway, thank you for all the support and all the wishful thinking a lot of you sent my way in regards to yesterday. I was feeling pretty low after that, and I was like, man, I'm going to bitch to some of my buddies on YouTube. So thank you, everybody, for lending an ear, and I appreciate all of your advice. And, yeah, I look forward to talking to you all soon. Later.